Here is a quick tour of my garden. This is a zucchini box, and they are getting fruit on them way faster than I have ever seen before. Normally they have male flowers for about a month before they put out the female flowers. Now I have the opposite problem, although the male flowers look like they will be there in a moment. Here's the chard going to seed, little black-eyed pea plot. Of course you can see that I do not weed the garden because it's a lot of work. Here are my carrots. The other reason for not weeding the garden is because the natural pests that bother something tend to even themselves out and they can't find your stuff as well if you don't have a monocrop. Here are some volunteer parsnips and a turnip going to seed. Nice big seed head. Here's another zucchini box. These had shade for a couple hours at sunrise before the other box did. However, these were the ones in the seed tray that did the best, and now they are not nearly as big. That first couple of hours near sunrise is when all the carbon dioxide is available. After that, it gets sucked up by all the trees. Your plants sit there most of the day doing nothing. Here's the watermelon box. Cute little watermelon plants. Because I had so many failures, I went and replanted. That's why I've got some little ones in here. And then I've got cantaloupe there at the end, 4 little clumps. Here's my blackberry bush, which came up on its own. I tried to move it, which I successfully did, but could not get rid of the original. It grew so well, I finally figured to heck with it. And I let it stay, and there is a lot of flowers on it this year. Here's one of the prettiest things in the garden this year. It is Parsley Root going to seed, and they are fantastic flowers. And here's the Parsley Root. I planted a bunch, and this is the only one that came up. So I'm going to plant a lot of these seeds once I get them. Hopefully I get myself a Parsley Root crop. Here's more chard. I believe a gopher has undercut this box because all of them fell down the same day. And I know there's only a couple inches of dirt in there above the wire that keeps them safe. It's enough to keep them alive, but not enough to keep them standing. Here's my cattail plot. I have yet to eat any of these things, although I've been wanting to try for a while, I guess any time. Here's the corn plot. This year is sweet corn, which I have not ventured in before, but people kept telling me they were annoyed at me growing corn you couldn't eat. Of course, it was flour corn. I was making tortillas with it, but they figured it wasn't edible. Anyway, I like corn tortillas. We've had a couple of days well into the 90 degrees, and the sugar peas are about done. Here are the grapes that I am doing fairly well with this year. The mint plot. We get lots of peppermint tea out of this mint plot. And then here are the pomegranate cuttings for this year. Some strawberries, more pomegranate cuttings, a few pistachio trees, and a mint plant. There is a little palm tree I'm trying to rescue. Gophers undercut the roots. And last on the tour is last year's pomegranate cuttings. And they are now pretty decent sized trees and doing okay. Got a couple of walnut trees, and a willow tree came up on its own. And absolute last, since I forgot about them, are the peanuts. In the largest garden box I've ever made. 8 foot square and 4 foot deep. Obviously dirt level's a little low. So that's the garden tour. Oh, onion plot. Oops.